Blessings and welcome to the Path to Freedom. My name is Daniel Roquillo, and as always, I'm deeply grateful and honored that you're choosing to join me, that you're choosing to tune in to a moment of expanding our consciousness, a moment of raising our vibration, a moment of setting ourselves free to soar, to be in ever expanding love and peace and joy and harmony and wholeness and beauty, a moment of allowing for the next great and grand version, iteration, expression of who and what we are to emerge. A moment also of setting ourselves free from fear, worry, doubt, sense of separation, a sense of lack, scarcity, a sense of not being enough. And all these stories and beliefs that we're continuously being hijacked by, as they are being repeated over and over and over again in our minds. So thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it, and I love it. I love it. So the topic for today is, it is done, now let it be. It is done, now let it be. And this obviously has to do with how the sacred laws operate and the path of manifestation, or the art of manifestation, as we are setting things in motion, as we are locking onto a higher possibility, a different possibility for our lives, through the virtue of where we turn our attention, by what we choose to think about, what we choose to feel about, what we choose to talk about. That is how we're setting things in motion, as we're having these beautiful reflective minds, allowing us to think about whatever we want to think about, to turn our attention toward whatever we want to turn our attention to. As we sustain that attention, whatever we turn our attention to the most, that is what we're calling forth into our experience. And as we sustain that attention, we're locking onto something that already is. And I'm getting kind of lots of questions around this. How can this be? How can it be that something that I cannot see here in this physical dimension, how can it be that something that is not a reality in my life, how can we still say that it is done? Well, the answer, to really answer the question, we need to take a deep dive into what spirit is, and the infinite mind that spirit is. When I speak about spirit, I'm not speaking about an external deity. I'm not speaking about a bearded man in the sky. I sometimes use the word spirit. I sometimes use the word God. They're both the same. We can use the words life, or love, or divine intelligence, or infinite intelligence, or divine matrix, or there's so many words that we can use. But we're still speaking about the same thing. And this loving presence, which is another way to express it, this loving presence, it is infinite. It is omniscient. It knows all there is to know. It sees all there is to know. And in the infinite mind of this loving presence, every single possibility already exists. Every single possibility already exists. There's nothing that exists outside of spirit. There are no dualities in spirit. There are no opposites in God, but God is all there is. So every single possibility already exists in this infinite mind. And as we begin to make new choices, as we begin to raise our vibration, to expand our consciousness, we're locking onto different and hopefully higher expression of who and what we are. And as we're locking onto it, we're not creating that. Humanity never creates anything. We're simply catching something that is already in existence in this infinite mind. And by virtue of our keeping our attention toward it, by virtue of our believing that it is possible, so that we begin to move in the direction of it, so that we begin to move from that inner knowing, feeling that this can be done. This can be done, and no one has ever done it before, but it still can be done, and it is possible. And yes, I can do it. As we begin to hang out in those vibrations, we're locking onto a higher possibility for our lives. But whenever we're catching an intention or a dream or a vision or a goal or whatever, it is not us creating it. I mean, I know it's very popular for us to say that we're creating a vision, but we are not creating anything. Humanity did not create electricity. We did not come up with smartphones or the internet or airplanes or electric cars. But we are catching an idea that is already in existence in the infinite mind. And that idea, we download it. That idea is being planted as a spiritual seed, is being planted within our consciousness, as God is seeking to come into ever greater and grander expressions. So even at the time of Jesus, at the time of Buddha, at the time of cavemen, internet, the way to allow for internet to come into existence was already here. It already existed. The way to make smartphones already existed. Now, we had not caught it in consciousness. We did not have the technology for it, but the way to allow it to demonstrate and manifest itself was always here. So when we're catching something, whenever we get an idea, whenever we catch inspiration to move off in a new direction, the destination, the highest possibility for that new direction is already in existence. Just like the sunflower is inherently within the sunflower seed, even before the sunflower seed is planted in the ground, even before the sunflower seed was. The highest idea for that particular sunflower existed. And the same it is with oak trees, the same it is with us humans, even before we are being conceived. Even before we arrive on this planet, the highest possibility for this incarnation already existed. So we do not need to make anything happen because it already is. Now, we need to participate in the unfoldment of that which already is. We need to participate in the happening of it, the demonstration, the manifestation of it. And many take that to believe that we need to make it happen. Now, I'm saying participating. We are co-participating in something that is happening. Once again, the sunflower seed, we can take any kind of seed, but the sunflower seed does not make the sunflower happen. The hen does not make the chicken happen. The caterpillar does not make the butterfly happen. But there is a process of emergence. Something emerges. It comes forth from within something. And so when we catch an idea, first of all, we've covered it, but I'm going to say it again. It's already done. It's already done, right? Now, the second part of the topic, now let it be, simply means that we are wise to take our hands off of the unfolding, the happening of it. When we get to, and a word that is coming to me more and more often is that we get to midwife that which is emerging. We're not making it happen, but we get to be the channel, we get to be the vessel, we get to be the instrument through which it happens, the vehicle through which it happens, through which it arrives from the infinite, from the invisible dimension where it's always existed, into this particular dimension where it gets to exist now. But it is not up to us to make it happen. And so whenever we become aware of trying to micromanage or force or speed up or have it our own way, it's been a while since I talked about the 4 dimensions of surrender, but we're wise to surrender the what, the when, and the how, and then there's the why. But even as we're catching a vision, we do not want to attach ourselves to a particular outcome of the vision, or a particular outpicturing of it, or a particular end result of it. But we get to participate in something that is ever unfolding, ever expanding. And there's a beautiful statement that goes that God begins where our imaginations end. So right at the edge of what we can imagine, that's where God really gets to step in and do its magic. And we are talking about a divine intelligence, the same divine intelligence that gave birth to the conditions being beautifully right and ripe here, not only on this planet, well, the constellation between the Mother Earth and the Moon and the Sun, so that life could arise, emerge here on this planet. The same divine intelligence that is making sure that when we get hurt, if we cut ourselves, the body knows how to heal it. Now, we get to participate in that we get to make sure that the wound is clean, that we wash it from time to time, that we perhaps put bandage on it to keep it from getting dirty. But apart from that, we are not healing that wound, but it is the divine intelligence within the body that is healing the wound. So when we are involved in allowing for something to emerge, we are not in the driver's seat of that. We cannot force the manifestation. We cannot speed it up. We cannot make it happen the way we want it to happen. We can try, but that is coming from a vibration of lack and scarcity. That's coming from a vibration of fear of not getting there, or fear of not having that, or whatever fear it is that is bubbling up. And that lower vibration, it actually hinders, obstructs, obscures, delays, and sometimes even denies the manifestation from happening. So we get to get in the passenger seat. We get to get ourselves in the passenger seat, trusting that whatever we need to know, when we need it, we will know it. We will be beautifully guided and moved and led along all of the path, every step of the way. Because this seed that we have caught, this idea that we have caught, it has a life of its own. The lilac bush knows what it needs to unfold into its highest expression. The oak tree knows what it needs to unfold into that majestic, magnificent, huge tree. It's not up to the acorn to make the oak tree happen. It is not the lilac seed that is making the lilac bush happen, but it emerges. And when the conditions are right and ripe, then the emergence happens with such ease and grace. And the conditions, in this case, our mental conditions, is us finding a way to release, let go of our fears, worries, and doubts where all of the manifestation is concerned. Making ourselves open and available to be guided, to be moved, to be led. Trusting that in any and every single moment, we are sourced, fueled, funded, that we have everything that we need, and that the unfoldment is happening beautifully and magnificently and perfectly in its own time. And this is not our time. It's not our calendar that God is moving in accordance with, but its own. Because we never know. And the greater idea, the greater the vision, the greater the intention that we have caught, the more things need to fall into place. And God alone, Spirit and Spirit alone, knows what needs to happen, how it needs to happen, when it needs to happen. And it is all playing out perfectly if we allow it. If we plant a seed in the ground, there is no use trying to speed the growing up. Yes, there are methods to speed it up, but it always happens at the expense of quality. When we try to speed anything up, it always diminishes the quality of whatever it is that we're trying to speed up. So yes, we can shorten the process, but it is not. There's a beautiful statement that goes that we can in no way, shape, or form improve the efficiency of the Spirit. So we get to trust. We get to let it be. We get to let it unfold in its own beautiful, perfect, magnificent time. And the way that it is meant, the way that is just perfect for this idea to unfold. Because there is so much that we don't know. With our finite senses, we have no idea what needs to happen. We have no idea how it is going to happen and how it needs to happen, or when it needs to happen. We can guess, we can try to control or dictate the manifestation process. But the truth is that God and God alone knows. So it is done. We don't need to worry about that. We don't need to concern ourselves with whether or not it is going to manifest. It will, it must, if we sustain our attention on, if we take on the feeling tone that it is done and that it is happening now. So that's the paradox. In the infinite mind, it is done and it is happening now. It's an isness in the infinite mind and it is unfolding now. And as long as we hold on to that knowing feeling, as long as we keep moving in that direction, trusting that it is happening now and that it is done, there's nothing that can stop the manifestation from happening. Nothing. Nothing. So it is done. Now let it be. Let it be. Let it grow. Let it expand. Let it unfold. Let it happen in the way that is just perfect for it. So that was it for today. The invitation, obviously, for us is to take a look at our lives and where we are trying to make anything happen, where we're trying to force or hurry the manifestation of something, anything. And then release that. Release the micromanaging. Thank you so much for tuning in, for participating, for joining me. Until we meet again, I bless your day, and I bless your way. Knowing, feeling that right where you are, all is well. Something wonderful is happening. Everything is working for your highest good and for the highest good of all of creation. Much love, many blessings. Namaste.